And good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rants alongside Tommy Krysan. TK joining us from Tremonti's Meat and Seafood on this Thursday morning edition of Sports Shorts. We will be back tomorrow morning on Friday morning as well. Today on Sports Shorts Daily, we're going to talk a little bit about the disappointment that was the season of the New Orleans Pelicans. It is officially over. The Pelicans lose the play-in game at home to Oklahoma City, where they were a 5.5-point favorite last night. No Zion. They blew a lead with 2 minutes to go, and this season is going to get put into the history books, and quite frankly, it is a disappointment. They were expected to make the playoffs. They were expected to even really be a top 5 or 6 seed for sure and not have to deal with the play-in game. They were number one. They were the number one seed before Christmas time, sometime early December. And then once Zion got hurt the first week of January, everything went down from there. And the fact that he physically could play, but Zion says he doesn't feel like Zion, and until he feels like Zion, he's not going to play. That's not sitting well with others. Tommy's going to have his comments on that. Also, LSU Baseball Big Series at the Box starts tonight, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Rain is expected this weekend. How will that affect the series? There's some rumors they might try to play a doubleheader on Friday and not worry about Saturday. We shall see. Today's supposed to be okay. They'll play tonight, 6 o'clock. And Paul Skeens will be on the mound. Folks, if you're contemplating going, you're not trying to go, like anytime Paul Skeens pitches, cancel what you're doing and go to the box and go watch him play. He's not going to be doing it many more times, this year. And this guy will play in the major leagues, barring any sort of catastrophic injury. He'll pitch in more than 10 years in the major leagues and be one of the all-time greats to ever come out of LSU. And you want to be able to say you saw him as many times as possible in a Tiger uniform. We'll talk about that series. The Tampa Rays. No, they're not the Devil Rays. They're the Tampa Rays. They dropped the term devil years ago, thanks to Russ Johnson. That's a whole long story. But Tampa Rays are 12-0, one of the best starts in history. Amazingly, they're 12-0. But Tommy is going against the Rays today. He'll tell you about his pick. And Shaquille O'Neal got some folks rattled, said the greatest LSU athlete of all time might be Angel Reese. Well, it might be a little bit of a creature of the moment. Tommy will tell you some folks he thinks might be better than Angel Reese. And look, last night was the LSU women's basketball end-of-the-year banquet at the Crown Plaza. They had over 900 folks jammed into the Crown Plaza last night to honor Kim Mulkey and her team and her staff. It was a fantastic event. I was fortunate to attend. They raised a bunch of money as well with the silent auction and live auction. And I did my part and contributed with the live auction. They had a Bunny Cannon, the great Billy Cannon's daughter. She's a fantastic, artist, and she does stuff. She takes a basketball or football or baseball or whatever, and she'll put crystals all over it and decorate it and everything. So they had this purple women's basketball. They had taken a basketball that was game used. It was worn used at one point during the regular season game in the PMAC. They took the basketball, they put crystals all over it. It was purple with gold striping and LSU on it. Really amazing. She made one of them. It went for $20,000 last night. Tom.
Did you get that one, Ron?
I did not. No.
Okay. I saw a picture of it on social media. It looked fantastic.
Yeah, it was really cool. They auctioned off her jacket that she wore in the championship parade and in the celebration. It was a purple jacket with LSU tiger heads all over it. I had a miniature statue. Simone Augustus was there, and she had a statue unveiled a couple months ago. Well, the artist did 7 little mini, statues, and 4 of them went to her family. 2 of them went to a couple former assistant coaches, and then the 7th one was auctioned off last night. That went for $3,500, and you got to take a picture with her. Holding that statue. So they had 5 items total, raised a bunch of money, and it was a fantastic event. Kim Mulkey was sensational in her praise of her seniors, and the video at the end that they played at the end of the night, the recap video of the season, really, that was narrated by Patrick Wright, was fantastic. I mean, absolutely fantastic. One of the best videos I've seen. It brought many in the house to tears. I may have welled up just a little bit, might have just a little bit, but it was very, very good stuff, and they honored the team last night. All right, TK, first off, let's talk Pelicans. You were Nostradamus last night. Everybody's depressed the Pelicans lost. The season's over, but not you, my friend. You were a big winner.
I took the Thunder on the money line. They were getting 5.5 points. It was 6 early in the day. Went down a little bit. The Thunder were 2 games under 500. The Pelicans were 2 games over for the season, but they got the second youngest team in the NBA, and they got some guys that could shoot. So you know me, I'm kind of a money line guy. A lot of times that'll get my attention, and it did last night. Trey Blossman, who I do a podcast with, said he would not lay those points by the Pelicans. He said if they win, it would be too close, and he liked my idea of money line. Well, we went with it, and we hit it. So Pelicans are done. Zion Williamson, a couple hours before the game, on camera, says he's just not mentally ready to play basketball, and he doesn't think he can help his team more from the bench cheering for him, which that's ridiculous. He warmed up in the pregame, in uni. Then he looked like Anthony Davis, street clothes once the game started, and obviously was just sitting there with all his silver chains on and stuff, cheering for the team. The Pelicans have to make a decision very soon. Do they trade him and get whatever they can get for him, whatever that may be, or talk to him and say, look, you're either going to play or you're not going to play. You've been healthy for 2 months, it's been reported now, physically cleared, but he's not mentally ready. That's just, I don't know many people that can wrap their arms around that. It's either that and he's making a pile of money. Man, that's unfortunate.
He's the highest paid cheerleader in the league, huh?
Yeah, he was an up and down season for the Pelicans, and it was in part due to him. And, the future's not bright for the Pelicans. They got to make a decision in the front office.
Stephen A. Smith was on this morning on ESPN and talking about Zion might have cost the Pelicans an NBA Finals appearance, because clearly when he's healthy and with this team and engaged and wants to play and all that, this team is one of the best teams in the league. And they proved that while he was there. And the fact that, look, things happen, you get hurt. And we know he re-aggravated sort of that leg of that hamstring in February, but we're almost to the, middle of April. And the fact that he's able to practice, play, whatever is, but doesn't choose to, and doesn't think that a 75%, 75% Zion wouldn't help. I mean, of course it would.
Well, he's selfish. He's not thinking of his teammates. He's not thinking of the organization. He's not thinking of the fans of the Pelicans who spend their hard money to buy tickets and buy shirts and hats and hoodies and all the gear. But yet they don't, he says, I'm not mentally ready to play. Now, some people can't wrap their arms around that. And, I know mental health is a thing. But if you got that much problem, don't sit on a bench. Go get some help. He was more of a distraction.
Yeah. Here's the thing about the whole mental health argument, right? Like, mental health is, it's like nowadays, ever since the Olympics, when the gymnasts used the mental health thing, and then it was like, everybody questioned things for 24 hours. Then it was like, if you question her, you're a horrible human being. Okay, here's my take on the whole mental health, because it's almost like if you say, well, I need a mental health day or a mental health break, or I can't, then it's like hands off. Okay, listen, do all the mental health you want, but give me my money back. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, if that's my whole thing. Like, if you don't feel up to it, or you feel stressed, or you feel whatever, and you're a professional, whether you work at the insurance office or whether you are a professional NBA player, it doesn't matter. You need a mental health day, a mental health week, a mental health break. Okay, you know what? Maybe the compromise is you get to keep your job if you get a diagnosed mental health break and your physician says they need some time off. Okay, you know what? You get to keep your job, but I don't have to pay you. You know what I mean? It's not paid time off. Take all the time you need. Zion, we're going to keep that check for the month of February, or whatever, if you need a mental health break. And so that would be my take. And it doesn't mean NBA. It could be anything in life. But
so in other words, if I need a mental health break from Sports Shorts Daily,
Yeah,
You're
I think
not
you
writing
should
me a
pay me,
check that
Tommy, if
week.
you need
Yeah,
a
I got
mental
to
health
pay
break.
you. Okay, all right. I just wanted to know what happened in case it's not coming up. Trust me.
All right, let's move on. LSU women gymnastics. Before we talk some other LSU women gymnastics. Don't look now, but here they are once again in the semifinals, the Elite Eight of LSU women's gymnastics. They're going to be on ESPN2 this afternoon at 2:00. So on your phone or on your television, you can check it out. They're in Fort Worth, Texas, Florida. Cal, Denver, who's really, really good. Of course, LSU went to Denver for the regionals, and LSU, that's in their grouping, their foursome on their side. And if they advance, they'll be in the national championship on Saturday. So 2 p.m., Fort Worth, Texas, Florida, Cal, Denver, LSU competing on ESPN2 and gymnastics. Saw Dee Bro last night. She was at the banquet for the LSU women's basketball, honoring them. Naturally, she'll be in Fort Worth today. And hey, LSU's women brought home the elusive national championship. Nobody thought they would. They thought, well, they might get to the Final Four, maybe, and that was a tremendous accomplishment. But then they shocked the world. That would be like LSU gymnastics this year. They're not expected to win a national championship. They sort of they've had a lot of injuries and whatnot, and they're sort of happy, happy that they made it this far. But it would be quite the accomplishment if they rode that wave of LSU women's sports.
Maybe they will, and I mean, they weren't expected to be where they're at, nor was Kim Mulkey's team. So, hey, maybe big things on the horizon for gymnastics. I'll be curious to see how it develops.
By the way, you see on the screen, LeBear's Casino and Hotel, the Barstool Sportsbook, great place to watch the games. You can go there today at 2:00, have lunch, and watch the gymnastics. They remodel. Wait till you see it, Tommy. When we go in there, not this week, we'll be over in Bruley at the Bruley Walk-Ons, but next week, because we go to Barstool twice a month, the second and fourth Saturday of every month. We do Sports Shorts Radio on Saturday mornings from 10 to noon there. But in the Barstool Sports Book, as well as the grill and everything, they've remodeled some stuff, put some Trey Ledbetter and the gang did some fantastic work. Wait till you see it. It's really incredible. They were in there yesterday kind of finalizing everything. They've got some football helmets hanging up everywhere, kind of where the blackjack tables are, Tommy. They redid that area. They've got, framed artwork and jerseys. My jersey got relocated. And I was in the prime spot, Tommy. I kind of got to the B spot. But, hey, just happy to be a part of the team.
Well, I'll be at LeBear's tomorrow night. I'm going to the Marshall Tucker concert, so okay. I'm gonna have to dip into the sports book and all of that. I got to check it out. Of course, I was there last Saturday for radio, and but I'm gonna dip in there Friday night, get a cocktail as I get ready for the Marshall Tucker band.
The Tampa Rays are having just an unbelievable run, and here's the thing, Tommy. Let me look right now. I think they are 5 or 6 games up in first place, and we're 12 games into the season, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Here's the standings. All right. The Rays are just 4 games. Okay, so Toronto's gotten off to a good start along with the Yankees. They're both 8-4. Tampa Bay is 4 games up, and we're 12 games in. I mean, that just does not happen. And, I mean, to put that into perspective, the most anyone else is up is 2. The Braves have gotten off to a hot start. They're 9-4, and the Mets are 7-6. They're 2 games up. Everybody else is, 1 game. What's going on with the Rays? And, oh, by the way, it's tremendous timing because the Rays, there's a lot of talk this offseason about when maybe the Rays would move or maybe would they get bought? Would they get moved to Vegas? What? Major League Baseball wants to have a team in Tampa. 1, for the television. 2, they want to have an anchor down there for spring training and not just be Miami, right? They've got all those teams down there. They've got the Yankees are right over there near Tampa. They got all those teams that are in Florida. They want to have that anchor major league team down there along with with Miami. It helps for spring training purposes. It helps. They've got tons of fans on the East Coast that live down there. They want to have that presence in a huge state and a big market like in Florida. So they don't want them to leave. Trust me. And now we're finding out that there's going to be just a deal in place, a contract to get it done for a new ownership, to get a new stadium along with the city and the state. So there's a lot of things positive happen for the Rays off the field. And now on the field, my goodness, they're the best team in baseball right now.
Well, and this may spark some of that other stuff to happen even quicker. And they play at noon today against the Red Sox, getaway day to noon start. They're not going to win every game. I know that. I might have to take the money I won on the Thunder last night and put it on the Red Sox, just simply because the baseball
Law
gods
of
say
averages.
you're not going to keep winning. Skip Burton would say that they're bound to lose. And Coach and I talked about that yesterday. They're going to lose. It's just, can you pick where it's going to be?
So today you're going to bet on the Red Sox. What's the money line?
Plus 240.
240. Okay.
Well,
Right.
it could have changed, but
So you're going to try to parlay your winnings from last night to today and roll the dice that on a getaway, small crowd, day game, Thursday, whatever. All right.
yeah. It's about managing money and
There you
finding value. If it hits, then I'll be like as if I'm smart.
Yesterday, by the way, you and Coach Bertman went up to Alexandria. He sold a bunch of books. Warren Morris had put on a luncheon event that he was a guest speaker at, brought Coach in. Tell me about the day and Warren.
Warren did a great job with his speech to the whole LSU baseball team was there. Many from the coaching staff at LSU. We were at Walker BMW, not far from the Rapides Parish Coliseum. Warren did a great job. Very motivational. Telling kids that, hey, if a little guy from Alexandria can do what I did, played over 4 years in the major leagues, you got to believe in your dreams and make it happen. He did really good. Now, Coach Bertman said it. So he spoke, and then he said something I hadn't heard before. If I heard it, I forgot it. The year Warren hit the home run to win the College World Series in '96, LSU, he missed 42 games that year with that hamate thing. But when he was in the lineup, prior to the hamate and after, LSU went 22-0. They did not lose a game when Warren was in the lineup.
People forget that. I mean, well, you don't forget it if you watch the SEC Network and you see a rain delay, and then they pop in the 30-minute special on Warren Morris. You get to that, but it's amazing. And look, Coach Bertman, my favorite thing he says about Warren Morris is, and he used to say the same thing about Mike Neal, who was my roommate for 3 years in college, who both come from great families and they're good Christian guys and everything. Coach Bertman used to say of both of them, Warren Morris is such a great kid. He goes, remember, he's such a good kid. He goes behind the dugout to chew gum. That's what kind of good kid he is. And so, I mean, it could not have happened to a better guy. Had it happened to, and I say this because I'll say it, I never choose another guy because he's a buddy and he doesn't get offended. And it's funny. Anybody who really knows him, if Chad Cooley had been the one to hit the walk-off homer, he might have put himself in the grave by partying the next year that hard.
Well, Ronnie, your name came up yesterday. Coach and I, it's 2.5 hour ride. We got to talk about something.
Yeah.
He tells me, he says, we were talking about Christian Little throwing 40 pitches in the first inning the other night. He goes, TK goes, I never, ever pulled a pitcher in the first inning. I said, Coach, what about Ronnie Rance? He goes, I might have to think about that one.
No, he did. That son of a
pulled you in the first?
Pulled me in the first against Maine.
I didn't remember that part. I was just joking, like, Coach, even because your name comes up when we talk a lot. I said, even Rance should never pulled. He goes, I got to think about that.
Listen, that guy pulled me in the first. He pulled against Maine. He pulled me in the second against Georgia, and he pulled me in the third against Tennessee.
Okay, how many outs did you have against Maine?
2.
Okay, I did you better. I got yanked in the first with 1 out against UNO.
Okay,
my only out was a pop up by Randy Bush. So, and he played in the majors forever. Got that story. But,
I can't remember the exact play-by-play. I remember it just happened so fast as it does in the first inning.
Ronnie, I got to add this in. Okay, so I get pulled 4 earned runs, 1/3 of an inning against UNO. But the flip side of the coin is Joe Housey threw a perfect game against us. 7 innings. 7 innings, perfect. So we're in the bus, and I'm telling my teammates, I'm like, you guys didn't even touch first. Don't get on my ass for getting ripped,
So I'll tell you the quick story. We're playing the Maine Black Bears, 1992. It's a Friday night. I get the ball. Maine's, it was their first game of the year. And I think it was our 3rd week, but it was their first week. It was back when teams didn't all start at the same time. And, of course, they started as late as possible because of the weather in Maine. And it was their first game of the year. They're at Alec Box. And people forget Maine was a good baseball program back then. They went to the College World Series, I believe, 3 times in the 80s. And so they come down and probably a young Ronnie Rance was looking past them a little bit, or not as locked in as I needed to be. And we had heard, they had been inside for 2 months or 3 months. They hadn't been outside, been practicing in a gym, whatever. And they come out just, and Coach, said this after the fact, of course. I wish he'd have told me beforehand that, they came out adrenalized and just their hair on fire and, because they're just outside and it's LSU and a big crowd and all that stuff. And they came out adrenalized and I didn't give up a homer. Wasn't a super walk fest. It was probably a walk, a hit, an error, a line drive, a walk. It was a combination of things. I just remember I didn't really get smashed or hit super hard. It just was a lot of bad things all culminating at once. And next thing you know, I look up and there's a couple guys on and a couple guys in. I think I gave up 2, maybe 3. And next thing you know, Coach is calling me and I'm on the phone back to Phoenix, Arizona, talking to my mom and dad on a landline, which for the young people out there, a landline is the thing with the string and the phone and all. There's no camera. But anyway, and then I remember after the game, I'm feeling terrible. We lose. We ended up winning the series, but we lost that game. And we're standing around Coach Burtman in the right field, and he's giving the post-game speech and talking about things. And I remember he said, and I was in the back of the circle, feeling sorry for myself, kind of pouting. And Coach Burtman says, hey, guys, listen, don't worry about this one. We're going to get them this weekend. We're going to win the series, swear to God. This loss, is on me. It's not your fault we lost. It's my fault we lost. And so for a second, I kind of I just kind of shoulder. Okay, it's not my fault. It's his fault. Just for a second, it just. He said, it's not my fault we lost. See, it's not your fault. It's my fault. See, I started the wrong pitcher. He rants, and he's got long fingers, and he pointed the finger right at me, and he reached through the crowd, and the guys parted, and he came towards me, and he put his finger on my nose, and he said, see, Rance thought the fucking game started at 7, and it started at 6:30. And I felt like shit. And
That's a good one. That's a good one.
All right. Last thing ever, real quick comment by you, then we get out of here. Shaquille O'Neal. I know it ruffled your feathers. I think he's just playing to the crowd, but he said Angel Reese is the greatest LSU athlete of all time.
She's not in the top 30, maybe not the top 50 of athletes.
Come on, Tommy. Top 30.
Billy Cannon, Jerry Stovall. Wait, Billy Cannon, Jerry Stovall, Tommy Casanova. Most people don't know who that is. Jared Mitchell was a starting wide receiver on the national championship football team, center fielder on the national championship baseball team. Jeremy Whitten was a better athlete. He punted for LSU and played left field. But, the Mondo Duplantis, I think he's a better athlete than Angel Reese. Okay. We can go. And then all the other great track and field stars at LSU, the women who won countless national championships. No, Shaq, you might want to rethink that one, okay, a little bit, because she's not the best athlete to ever come out of LSU. It's not even close.
Well, she's still a great one. And
she's
the best thing.
She's a national
She'll be
champion.
back next year.
And she's got to go 2 more.
Oh, she's got 2 more, right? The thing that's interesting is, and she might go pro though. That's the thing. She might go pro after next year. But
she can't. She's got to go 2 more years here. She's not eligible for the draft until down the road. That's been written many a time.
So here's the thing I will say about her. This team next year, I'm curious to see the transfer portal.
Well, and they got Michaela Williams. Now, here's the thing, Ronnie. I hope they book the Crown Plaza for next April 12th, because there's going to be another celebration.
Probably. Let me tell you something. They need to book the Raising Cane's convention center, because they're not going to have enough room next year. They had 590, because I emceed the auction last year for LSU women's basketball. They had 590 people last year. They had over 900 this year, and they probably couldn't put another. They might have been able to put 1 or 2. See, the thing about the difference between LSU's baseball banquet and the women's basketball banquet is baseball, they don't have a big a dais. They don't have the big dais with the big tables and all the people up there on stage. They'll have a few people up there, but not. In women's, they have the whole staff on the front row and their wives or husbands or whatever. They have the players on the back row. They have a giant stage, dais up there with everybody on it. They don't do that with so there's more room for baseball. So they actually were able to do 1,000 people in that same room where they're only able to do 900 something this time around. They're gonna have so they sold I think 40 tables in the last week and a half. After they won the national championship, they sold like another 40 something tables. They're going to have to move it to another venue. And the Crown Plaza people are fantastic. The husband-wife combo that owns it and runs it, big LSU supporters. They donated a 6-person dinner catered by them with Kim Mulkey on center court in the PMAC. Of course, that went for $10,000 or something like that. But anyway, yeah, they'll be celebrating next year. They're the favorite. They're the number one, preseason number one, all that stuff. Yeah, all right, TK, tell us about Tremonti's.
Well, we're not always over here on a Thursday. The lunch special on Thursday is jambalaya. It's great. They sell a ton of it every Thursday. So you can check that out. Hey, just because Easter's gone, they still got boiled crawfish, still got live crawfish, catering, small group, large group. It doesn't matter. You're going to be out at the Rougarou Golf Tournament on May the 1st. Be part of that event out at Greystone, and we'll get you more information on that. I'll get that flyer put up. But Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, great wine selection, the bourbons, the vodkas, everything that you need. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge.
All right, for Tommy Krysan, I'm Ronnie Rance. We'll be back tomorrow morning for more Sports Shorts Daily. We'll be talking, of course, tons of LSU baseball after Game 1 is tonight. And we'll give you an update on the Rays. We'll tell you if Tommy won his bet against the Red Sox, taking the Red Sox today on the money line. For Tommy Krysan, I'm Ronnie Rance. Thanks for watching Sports Shorts Daily. Please like and share this video. We appreciate your support. And as always, this show is presented by LeBear's Casino.